Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I'm Star. So I am here with a message, kind of like a vision, not exactly a vision, but anywho, my eyes were burning, and then God spoke to me and said, "If you insist on being blind, then you will become blind." The scripture comes from 2 Samuel 19 and 15. So the king returned and came to Jordan, and Judah came to Gilgal to go to meet the king, to conduct the king over Jordan. And Shimei, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, which was of Bahurim, hasted and came down with the men of Judah to meet King David. And there were 1,000 men of Benjamin with him, and Ziba, the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons and his 20 servants with him, and they went over Jordan before the king. Okay, so his message. God said, for whoever this is for, don't act like you don't understand what's going on. I feel like this is for somebody like, because the scripture is about David and it's about him meeting some people connected to Saul. And what God is showing me right now, this is for somebody, either you just received some kind of like status elevation. You just received some kind of like maybe you just joined a clique or a group, or you just got married, or you just got in a relationship, or you just became friends with some people. I just feel like to somebody, your status is new. You just graduated. You just started school. This is somebody, you have a brand new status, and it's like it's there, but it's not all the way active. Everybody knows that you have this new status and it's there, but it's not all the way active. Not just yet. And I say it's not active just yet because this is David before he was all the way active. So this is somebody, you're not all the way active. It's there. God already chose you. It's like, everybody know. God said, you know it, everybody know it. Everybody know it. He know it, she know it, everybody know it. Okay? Like Drake said that song. Okay? You know it, she knows it, everybody knows it. Okay, anyway. What did I say? Everybody knows this. It's not a secret. And this is the stage that you in. And this person may very well be in, a position. There may be someone who is in a position to where they feel like Saul. So this is the confusing part. Because typically, when it comes to family, I do feel like God is showing me some family dynamics. Like maybe somebody wanted to be an only child. Like maybe it's like two brothers, one wanted to be the only brother, or two sisters, one wanted to be the only sister, and the other one wasn't supposed to exist. And why did, what I'm saying, or something like that. I just feel like then yes, that it would make sense as to why somebody would feel as though they are in a Saul position. And see, I feel like to go even deeper with this message, it's like this will be a situation where this person has basically, they put themselves in that position though. Like this is someone it's like they chose. And once again, like God said, if you choose to be blind, then you will be blind. And when it comes down to it, nobody can be somebody else. Nobody is replacing anybody. So even when it comes down to the way that Saul was behaving in the Bible, he was like really tripping because God didn't say that his reign would be short lived at that exact second. Now, he did, however, say that, Saul disobeyed him. He knows that he just, what I'm saying? But at the same time, he didn't say that it was going to just be a few days and then everything will be over. And then when it really comes down to it, God is. God is. He's the beginning. He's the end. He's the Alpha. He's the Omega. So it's nothing that, it's not a situation where, the logic that Saul was using, if I get rid of David, then I will be able to remain king. No, sir. If God say your time is up, your time is up. It don't matter who you decide that you're going to try to take with you. It don't matter who you decide that you're going to try to take with you. When God say your time is through, is finished, is done, that's what it is. Anywho, God is saying, like, for some of you, it's a situation where there's some people that they just, they feel as though you have taken something from them. But in reality, you have not. Because your existence is yours. That's all it, like, you are not a mistake. It's not a situation where God accidentally breathed life into you. Even when you think about it, like, even if I was to step away from the Christianity aspect of birth and someone being born into this world, and I just go to the scientific aspect of birth and someone being born into this world, you have to think about the fact that literally the entire time, even before the egg is fertilized, a woman's body has built up so many booby traps and, like little, booby traps and traps and more traps, trying to ensure that it doesn't happen. And all those that's a sperm have to fight through all of that. Many of them don't make it. And then they finally get to the egg and they have to beat down the barrier of the egg, and then they have to finally get through some, like, it's a journey. Then they blind. Okay? They don't have eyes. They just swerving around. Don't know where they going. Just trying to get there. Okay? And then they have a time limit. I don't have my watch on right now, but they got a time limit, baby. They got a time limit, baby. That lifespan ain't forever. And you know what I'm saying? When it, finally for a sperm to actually get to the egg and actually, like, create an embryo is a miracle in itself. Sometimes the sperm, they get in there, like they're almost there, but they don't make it in time, and the egg is washed away in the monthly, or sometimes things like this happen. Sometimes if the egg is fertilized and it gets past all that, and instead of it attaching itself to the wall, it ends up getting washed away with the woman's monthly. And then there are times when it does attach itself into the wall, but something happens, and then now we're entering into the land of miscarrying, and how different things can happen if somebody doesn't know and they have been like fighting or playing football or whatever other kind of crazy activities one could be playing at, and not knowing that they are with child, and things like that happen downhill. And there's so many things that could happen, from the least smallest thing, like somebody accidentally tripping, somebody hurting themselves, somebody eating something they shouldn't. There have been people that will put stuff in people's food and people's drinks, trying to cause them to lose the baby. It could be somebody literally trying to hurt someone else. It's like so many things that you have to go through along the journey of those 9 months before actually getting to the grand finale. And now at the grand finale, and then the whole 9 months, once again, your body is literally fighting against this baby because it is foreign. It is foreign. That is literally what the fluid is doing, is protecting the baby from us, from our bodies. Those are like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? I know I'm going on a rant a little bit, and for some of you, y'all gonna be like, okay, story, you telling us something, and for some of y'all gonna be like, so we ain't trying to hear that. That's fine, do your thing. But anyways, long story short, then the birth happens. Everybody don't survive that. Everybody do not make it. There are some babies that don't make it. There are some mothers that don't make it. And it is actually a very life changing, traumatic event. And this is literally the first moment of life for everyone. Like, it's a traumatic event. But long story short, for you to make it through all of that, um, you can't just assume that things are just happening just because. And, there's nothing else that could possibly be helping things to happen. Um, Regardless if they're good or bad things. Good things being like, you met someone who seems as though they could fulfill something that you have been missing in your life for a long time, regardless if it's a friendship, a job, or a person that you want to be a spouse. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you meet them out of nowhere, and they're a wonderful person, and you're like, wow, how did I end up meeting this person? God's saying it's not a just because situation. You met this person because He sent them your way. He sent you their way. It's not just because. And simultaneously with bad things, sometimes we think when a relationship is ending, when we are seeing red flags, when we are seeing that someone is having some kind of hidden animosity, or when we are seeing that something is not going to work out the way we thought it would, sometimes it can make us feel a little sad. It can make you feel a little confused, and you could not want to actively react to what God is revealing to you yet, because it's not time yet. So you're trying to figure out what to do with your emotions of finding out. And it's kind of hard to just pull that to the back, try to push that back. But I just feel like God is saying it's a difference between pushing the information back until you need it, and pushing the information back to where you forget that God even warned you in the first place. Pushing the information back to where you are no longer like you're I just feel like pushing the information back to a place to where you are no longer able to even recognize what's really going on, what's actually going on around you. Like, let's say God is sending you out red flags, and you are seeing red flags. Like, let's say someone is constantly talking negatively to you, regardless if it's a friendship, relationship, whatever. They're constantly talking down on you, constantly making you feel insecure, constantly making you feel like you're, how do I say it? I don't want to say a bad friend, or like they're being a bad friend to you, or I don't know. I just feel like red flag, y'all. Like, let's say you and your friend go out. Every time they take pictures of you, it's always blurry, messed up, terrible pictures. You take pictures of them, they look like a model. Okay, like it is. I just feel like, and I get it. Everybody is not good at taking pictures, but y'all, kids, kids, kids can take decent pictures. And you know, it's a certain level of this picture, it looks terrible, to where you like, you really just, you did this on purpose. Like you had to actually try to mess up the way they make these cameras on these phones. You have to actively put forth effort to take a bad picture. That's seriously. So if somebody, every time you give them the phone and you ask them to take a picture, the picture look crazy, it ain't the phone. It's not the phone. That's not even an excuse anymore. It's them. God said, if you insist on sitting there, you see this here. You see what they doing. You see what they saying. You see how they acting. You see what they, you see it. These are the red flags. But if you insist on acting like you don't see that, you become blind. And you know, some people don't understand what this means. You know, it doesn't mean that everybody have flaws. Nobody is perfect. So, you know, for some of y'all, it's as simple as you just simply having a conversation with somebody. For some of y'all, it's as simple as you figuring out if you really want to work there. Do you really want to be friends with that person or whatever? I don't know. But anywho, but it's best to not pretend to be blind, because see, if you just pretend to be blind, even if it is intended for you and that person to be friends, even if it is intended for you and that person to get married, even if that is the case, if you pretend to be blind, you are going to eventually be blind. It's not going to be a situation where you're pretending anymore, because whatever it is you were pretending to be blind from, and you were pretending that you don't see, that is not to say that that person is going to stop doing that anymore. But it is to say that you're going to start building up your own personal, like, it's kind of like a, to protect yourself. Like you build up your own wall, to where when they say something like that, you, in your mind, you might hear it, but you transmitted it to something else. You see what they're doing with that person, but in your mind, you have transmitted it to something else. This is how people get sick. Some people can cause themselves stress. Like, you know, our bodies are so way more complicated than what we are told and what we make it out to be. But I do feel like, you know, for whoever this is for, God is saying, if you carry on allowing all of that, you know, to build up inside of you, you can cause yourself stress. So you're going to have to pick one. Either you're going to have to open your mouth and say how you feel, or you're going to have to accept the fact that you are blind and happy. And yeah, that took a weird turn. But anyways, that's the message. God said, if you insist on being blind to what He is showing you, and you don't bring it to light, you don't talk about it, you don't try to put forth any change or effort for it. If it's a situation where you are, if you insist on being blind to it, if you insist on being blind, and even if it's a friend group, like let's say you have a group of friends and y'all are always hanging out with each other, and you are noticing more often that you are the odd one out. This is a red flag that, as me, somebody that has been through some things, I would definitely say to take notice. If you feel like you are the odd friend out, always take notice of that. If you start feeling as though your other friends are giggling about you behind your back, you know, this is something to take. This is a red flag. You need to take notice. If you hear people whispering about doing wicked things to people and looking at you with a side eye, even if they don't say your name, that is a red flag. And that is a giant red flag, because all these times that we didn't heard these stories of these women that were hanging out with their friends allegedly and ended up not going home to their families, it's not a situation where their friends was trying to sit around while they were present having a meeting of how they was going to take them up out of here. And that's real. Like, I don't know, some people are always thinking that it's going to be a very obvious clue or hint. No, it could be very subtle. It could be very subtle. But you know what I'm saying? I just feel like God is saying, use your context clues and don't be allowing red flags to just be flying everywhere and you ain't even paying no attention. You're not even paying attention to what's going on around you. You just letting stuff happen and doing stuff. God said, come on now. Don't do that no more. Anywho, that's the message, y'all. That's the message, y'all. God said if you insist on being blind, the kind of things that happen to blind people, you know what I'm saying? Like let's say you're walking straight ahead. If you can't see anything, then you wouldn't be able to see the wall that you're about to walk. You know what I'm saying? Like God is saying it's something that you're about to walk right into it. And He's trying to show you. He giving you all kind of signs and symptoms and wonders and symbols, not symptoms, I said symptoms. All kinds of signs, symbols, and wonders. And you are, and for some of you, symptoms of what you are getting ready to just dive right into. And I feel like a symptom would be like when you getting ready to work for a place and you haven't really just started working there yet, but you are like maybe filling out an application or maybe doing an interview or something, and somebody is getting off work and they look like they have just been like they never want to come back to that place ever again. Like they hair all over their head, they like the clothes, they ready to just run. It just looked like they just want to race away from that place. That's red flag. You know what I'm saying? You go into one of these places and you see employees arguing and going back and forth with HR, and then it's a bunch of them that need to argue and go back and forth. It's a red flag. I just feel like God has said, you know what I'm saying? You can't get mad when God show you all these different red flags, right? And you know that you told them that you needed certain days off. And now you at the office trying to figure out why they have you on the schedule for days that you said you needed off. God said He gave you several red flags beforehand, but you ignored it. And because you chose to be blind, now look, you've walked into a wall because you chose to be blind. And sometimes choosing, like, you know what I'm saying, sometimes it's not always a situation where God is saying you need to quit the job immediately. You know what I'm saying? Not even just walk off the job right now. Like, no, that's not what this message is. It's not saying that you should end your relationship immediately. And you should end your friendships. And, if you in a little group or little clique or whatever it is y'all got going, you should call it quits and never speak to your friends again. But I feel like this is a message like you need to pay attention to what's going on around you. People are people. And yes, while there are some people that are always giving, there are also some people that, while they'll give, they also love to take too. And if you let them, they will overtake. And, they will make you feel as though you should allow them to overtake. And, I just feel like you have to pay attention to that. Because you have to be careful that you're not dealing with someone that is not like that person that will give, but sometimes they can overtake. But, it's also people that will just take. They never give. They never give. They will never buy you anything to eat. They will never take you anywhere. They would never, spend time with you. They would never take out time to do this, that, and like they would never, because they can't. And I just feel like it's better to be in the median. And I just feel like God is saying right now, this is a message for someone where you're in the median right now. God says, pay attention. Don't allow yourself to just be walked all over. But at the same time, don't don't just, I don't know how to say it. I just feel like don't be a follower or anything like that. God is saying use your own mind, use your own head, and don't just blindly do stuff just to be doing it. Like, I just feel like that's the biggest part of this message. Like, because when you are blind, you cannot see the cause and effect of what you got going on. You just walking. And God is saying, don't just be walking. Pay attention. You can see, you can see that if you keep on walking there, the light is about to turn green for the car. So you need to stop. Don't be blind. Open your eyes and see, and this is obviously, and no offense to anyone that is actually blind or anyone that has any kind of disabilities. You know what I'm saying? While I don't have those disabilities specifically, I am disabled. So no, I am not up on here trying to make nobody feel no kind of way. That is a part of the message. But we have a whole scripture about Jesus healing a blind man. But anywho, that's the message, y'all. God said, do not be blind to what's going on around you, how people are treating you, how people are acting towards you, where you are going, what is happening, if you are starting to build habits, pay attention to what happens every time you participate in that habit. Pay attention to what happens when you are, I just feel like pay attention to everything. Pay attention to detail on a different level. Yeah, that's the message. This video is so long. I was not expecting it to be this long, but baby, happy Sabbath day, y'all. Okay, I love you guys to bits and pieces, and I'll see you guys later. Deuces.